I stop. I swat.
Whoa, whoa, baby, poke it out, poke it out, poke it out.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing the state of the Saints heading into Week 6 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Sorry if I sound like I got hit by a truck. I am a bit sick, but I should be fine tomorrow, actually, because my fever has went away. It's just, I don't know, somehow my fever went away, but my symptoms haven't? Doesn't make any sense, but I'm assuming when I wake up I'll be fine, hopefully. So today we're going to be covering the state of the Saints, as I said. This is a weekly series every Tuesday where we look at the ins and outs of what's going on, the players highlighted from last week, the division, everything like that, and cover what I don't cover in predictions, preview, all that stuff videos. So this is a very, it's one of my favorite videos of the week. Like, seriously, I love the State of the Saints videos, so, and you guys are responding a lot better than last year with these, so thank you so much for that. And we're going to start by mentioning the star of last week. It was definitely the Teddy Bridgewater show last week. He performed very well. Something I noticed was that Sean Payton completely took the training wheels off of Teddy Bridgewater. He had 4 completions for 20-plus yards yesterday, or Sunday. Now it's yesterday today, but not on Tuesday. He had 4 completions for 20-plus yards in that game versus Tampa. Before that, he had 4 total on the entire season in the Rams, Seahawks, and Cowboys game combined. So he threw the same amount of passes for 20-plus yards last game than he did in all 3 of those games combined. So it's kind of obvious that Sean Payton decided, you know what? I trust Teddy Bridgewater. He's getting in the groove. We're at home against one of the worst secondaries in the league in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to take his training wheels off. I'm going to let him go out there and perform like that playoff quarterback he was in Minnesota. I loved seeing that. I loved seeing that Sean Payton trusted him to throw the ball a little bit deeper downfield. The check down Teddy narrative got completely wiped off the face of the planet. He threw a touchdown to Jared Cook, 2 to Michael Thomas, 1 to Ted Ginn. He absolutely balled out. I'm so glad to see that he's trusting his targets. Definitely Michael Thomas had a huge game. We'll get into that later. But even Jared Cook, he threw the ball to him a multitude of times. It seems like Jared Cook is finally getting in his groove, and Teddy Bridgewater targeting him is a huge, huge, huge input on that. I'm so glad that Jared Cook got his first touchdown in his New Orleans Saints career last week against the Buccaneers. Teddy Bridgewater threw for 26 completions, 314 yards, and 4 touchdowns with a 131.2 quarterback rating. He performed. That 4 touchdown pass game ties his career best. He hasn't thrown more than 4 touchdowns or at least 4 touchdowns since 2015 in Minnesota. He absolutely balled out, and it makes me so I know it makes all of us happy. We all love Teddy Bridgewater. We love his story. We love that he came back from such a grueling injury that had his teammates throwing up at practice, puking, everybody freaking out, everybody doubting he'll ever play again, him sitting in the ambulance wondering if he's going to be able to keep his leg. That's how bad the injury was. And for him to go out there and throw 314 yards and 4 touchdowns against a division rival, regardless of what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary is ranked as, they always play us hard. They were 4-11 and beat us while we were 11-4 fighting for the first seed in 2017. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers always play us hard. So Teddy Bridgewater played fantastic. Couldn't be more proud of that. Like I said, no more training wheels for Teddy. Sean Payton trusts him. He's in the driver's seat. Hopefully he can produce like that in a multitude of games. I'm so proud and happy for Teddy Bridgewater. For him to go out there and compete like that against a division rival is gutsy. I wouldn't have liked to see it from anyone else. Good job, Teddy Bridgewater. I'm glad you're out there balling. Regardless of the negative things anybody has said about you, you're playing fantastic, and that's all that matters. He's such a great spirit, such a great soul. I'm glad that he's doing great things. So, yeah, Teddy Bridgewater is the first thing I wanted to highlight on this episode because, oh, my Lord, this man deserves it. The next person I'd like to talk about is none other than Can't Guard Mike himself. And the other day, he really just decided to push the narrative and remind us why you just cannot guard Mike. He was targeted 13 times, had 11 receptions for 182 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. That's amazing. He played great. He did exactly what he needed to do to help Teddy Bridgewater succeed. I couldn't thank him enough for doing that. He played fantastic. He was that safety blanket that Teddy Bridgewater needed. And not even only a safety blanket, he was playing like a deep threat. Like, he was out there catching deep passes. Michael Thomas played amazing. Currently, he leads the league in receiving yards with 543 within 5 games. 543 receiving yards already. A couple more big games like that, Michael Thomas is going to have 1,000 yards. It's looking like it's going to be another 1,000-yard season for Michael Thomas. A couple more of these big games. He'll have a 10-touchdown season as well. He's once again proving why he is undisputed one of the top wide receivers in the league. And in my opinion, he's making a strong case for the top receiver in the league. DeAndre Hopkins' production has fell down a bit, as well as Julio Jones, but that whole Falcons organization seemed to have fallen down a bit, so it's not really his fault. He has 3 touchdowns as well. He leads the league in receptions with 45. You just cannot guard Mike. He's proving that he's worth every single dollar he got from that huge contract that he signed this offseason. Michael Thomas has been playing amazing. He had a huge game last week against the Buccaneers. This man is something special, a once-in-a-lifetime wide receiver. So glad that the New Orleans Saints drafted him in the 2nd round a few years back. This dude's insane. Michael Thomas is a monster. I just wanted to give him the proper highlight he deserved in today's episode because he's been playing fantastic, and he's really one of the big gears that keeps our offense going. So Michael Thomas, number 13, definitely deserved a word here today. Now, the next thing I'd like to talk about is the emergence of our defense, and we all know that our defense has been playing fantastic. Of course, you had the first rough week against the Houston Texans. For some reason, it seems that the first 3 weeks of every season for our defense is atrocious, and I will never understand how or why that's the case. I mean, maybe we're just one of those teams that gets off to a slow start defensively. Luckily, the past I don't even know how many years we've had a good offense to keep us in those games, even though we've started 0-1 the last 5 years before this year, and 0-2 consecutively a couple of those times. But the offense was able to save us this year against the Houston Texans. Against the Los Angeles Rams, the defense played great the first half, but the offense was so uncoordinated. After that, they allowed 23 more points. So I understand the issue with that. Week 3, they played great against Seattle, even though it doesn't seem like it. There were a lot of garbage time touchdowns allowed against Seattle. That's what happens when you're trying just to get out of the game and not have any players get hurt. I don't blame that. Against Dallas, they played fantastic. One of the best gritty performances I've ever seen from the New Orleans Saints defense. And against Tampa Bay, they played fantastic as well. Something to note is that in the NFL rankings, the New Orleans Saints defense has moved from 28th at the beginning of week 3 to 19th in a 2-week span, now only allowing 23 points per game instead of 30. That is fantastic. The New Orleans Saints defense has locked it down the past couple of weeks. There have been multiple garbage time touchdowns, as I previously stated, against Tampa Bay and against Seattle. There were a couple of them. Seattle was the worst, but Tampa Bay, there was a garbage time touchdown last week. I know you guys remember that. The New Orleans Saints, so I think it's a flawed stat that our defense is ranked 19th, but as the season progresses, we're going to get higher and higher and higher with these amazing defensive performances. The New Orleans Saints are 6th in the league in sacks with 16th, just proving how dominant our defensive line has been, the amount of talent we have. Marcus Davenport had 2 sacks last week. He's showing what he was worth. I really hope that he can consistently be that Marcus Davenport and prove to everybody that he was worth those 2 first-round picks we gave up for him. Cameron Jordan's Cameron Jordan. We got Sheldon Rankins back. Malcolm Brown was one of the most underrated free agent signings of all of last offseason. The defensive line is fantastic. I would argue 100% that we have the best defensive line in the league. Marshawn Lattimore is back to his old business. He's locked down again. Mike Evans got held completely off of the stat sheet, off the box score. Marshawn Lattimore is one of the best corners in the league. Mike Evans, one of the best wide receivers in the league. Top 5, no doubt, when he held him to 3 targets, 0 receptions, 0 yards. Everything straight 0 Marshawn Lattimore is locked down once again, which is attributed to our defense being fantastic over these last couple of weeks. Really proud of how our defense has been playing. If they keep it up like this and Teddy Bridgewater is able to go out there and do what he does, we're going to the playoffs. We're going to have a positive record when Drew Brees comes back, and I can't stress how happy I am to say that. Seriously, it feels amazing. One of the last things I'd like to talk about here is the division. Now, the division has been terrible. I'm not going to lie. Well, the Falcons have been terrible. Let me not say the entire division in itself. The New Orleans Saints are first in the NFC South with a beautiful 4-1 record. And if you were to come and tell me that the New Orleans Saints would be 4-1 at this point after the Rams game, I would have hope. But I would doubt it a little bit. But I mean, hey, here we are. We haven't lost since that Rams game, and we played Jacksonville in Jacksonville, who just lost to the Carolina Panthers next week. They're doing that whole Minshew Mania pack, whatever, where the fans are going to be wearing the Gardner Minshew mustaches and stuff. I don't know how that's going to look in the crowd, but I mean, hey, I'm here to see it. The Carolina Panthers are second in the NFC South with a 3-2 record. We have another divisional battle in London next week. The Panthers are playing Tampa. It's technically a Tampa home game, but they're in London, so it's really anybody's home field advantage. The Buccaneers, like I said, they're third in the NFC South with that loss they took against us. They are 2-3, and they play Carolina in London. The Atlanta Falcons are fourth in the NFC South with a staggering 1-4 record. They play at Arizona this week, and I see the Falcons getting their second win of the season, even though I hate them. I think that they're a much better team than Arizona. So, someone has to get a win between the Buccaneers and Panthers. Hopefully, it's the Buccaneers. We need to root for the Buccaneers in this game because the Panthers are looking good. Christian McCaffrey is making his case for the best running back in the league. The Buccaneers, if they can go and get it done, that's a sweep on Carolina. So, I don't know. I'm rooting for Tampa Bay. Let me know who you guys are rooting for. So, Saints are on top of the NFC South, 4-1. And then it's Panthers, Bucks, and Falcons. So there's going to be a ton of important stuff that happens this week. One more game of separation, if we win against Jacksonville, is definitely something extremely important, and I cannot stress that enough. So let me know what you guys think is going to happen within the division this week. It's definitely something that we need to look at. It's huge. I don't know. We play Jacksonville, the Buccaneers and Panthers face off in London, and the Falcons play Arizona, so they should get their second win of the season. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think the Panthers are going to beat the Buccaneers? Do you think the Buccaneers are going to beat the Panthers? Let me know everything down in the comments section. I really appreciate you guys stopping by for this episode of State of the Saints heading in to Week 6 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I really appreciate you stopping by. If there's anything else you want me to do, any other weekly series you want me to incorporate, there is that Wednesday time period where there's no video. There's a couple of days in the week that don't have videos. So if you guys would like an extra video or two to come out, make sure to go ahead and leave a comment down below giving me an idea for a weekly series or something like that I could do. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.
Ballin' like Barkley, wrist so sparkly, internet surfing, feel like iCarly.